Namaste Sarasvati Devi, Gauravani Pracharine, Nivesesa Sunyavadi, Paskata Desatarine, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Swasati Gauravata Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for your coming today. It's our Wednesday, super duper. I remember that when I was in the school, it's a Catholic school in Brazil, São Paulo. It was a archdiocesano. He was a kid, But I remember Wednesday where the day we have movie time. So we all go to the movie, they show some Christian movie like that. One time there was a movie and the guy was really bad, but at the end he got hurt, mortally hurt, and then he asked the father for please save me, and the father did whatever and saved him. So next day we discussing he was so bad, and then he asked forgiveness, he was forgiven, so it was a whole thing there. Anyway, now we change the holy name, we forgive everybody. Okay, so Mata, you carry on.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, or dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Shall I start?
Yes, please.
Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesho Shunyavadi Passcode Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesho Shunyavadi Passcode
Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Sunyavadi Paskata Desatarine
Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari.
Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Vanachari.
Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar
Gadadhara
Srivasadi
Srivasadi
Gaura
Gaura Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada aqui. Gaura Pramanandi. Thank you so much. Remind me of the old times in Bengal. It's traveling through time. Very good, Matam. I want to ask you questions just very quickly, and Sora, pay attention. What kind of microphone you have?
Yeah, Antara Mataji.
Did you hear me? What kind of microphone you have?
Antara Mataji, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Sora, you're here, right? Yeah, is that correct?
Okay, sorry. Wait, should I share the screen? Sorry.
The screen, yes, we're waiting for the nectar. My face is not the nectar. Hare Krishna.
Okay, can you see?
Okay, now, where did you left last time?
Yeah, the hair. So we will start today from November 29th, 1975. Okay, so so everybody please prepare
Okay.
for your reading. So please after
Yeah.
Prabhuji reading, yeah. So after Prabhuji reading,
Who will be the next?
yes, please be ready. Okay.
Okay. And who will be after me? Who will be after me? You just prepare the
Yes,
next
yes.
person. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. When Prabhuji will mute, so
Okay.
yeah. So next you unmute yourself and please continue your reading. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. So I just want to make because I joined around July, August of 1975. At this time, I was in Brazil. I was doing the process of Krishna consciousness. So this is all the time I was in the movement. I was hearing about Srila Prabhupada, all that. So it's very interesting hearing about this at this particular time. Okay. For this morning, November 29, 1975. For this morning walk, Prabhupada followed a route that took us along Tencent Mark across Mandi House in Feroz. I have to move this. Feroz, okay, sorry. Feroz Shah as far as Curzon, then left almost to Indian Gate before turning along Tilak. I went Mayavadi here. The screen disappeared. Oh my God. We get that back, right?
I don't know what happened. Just a minute. Please give me some minute.
We always have these things. Last time was with Wishbone, right? Now we have with Soda. Oh, there you go. Haribo. So as far as Curson, then left almost to Indian Gate before turning among Tilak Marg and then returning. During the course of the walk, the conversation was lively, with the science versus religion dialogue predominating. Prabhupada commented on the numerous Kula Kendras in Kala Kendras in the area. Kala means art or culture. And in Bengali, Kala also means cheating. Prabhupada pointed out that although the presentation is supposed to be cultural for the upliftment and refinement of human life, they are not culture at all. He said that real culture means to understand that everything comes from the soul. People give attention to the activities of the body, such as the vibration produced by the tongue, without really understand the cause. When the body is dead, there is no more singing, although the same tongue and ears are present. They don't know who is the person singing and hearing. Materialistic scientists claim that it is all chemical reaction, but they cannot produce such a chemical. When Ambarisa Prabhu said the scientists were simply bluffing, he agreed. He humorously emphasized this point by declaring that the scientists should be kicked on the face. They were offering the public post-dated checks by promising to deliver proof of the claims in the future. But an intelligent man should not be cheated in this way. Harikesha suggests that the scientists should receive their own treatment. They should have their salaries paid by post-dated check. No, they will not accept that. They will not accept, Prabhupada smiled. In the future, we will pay you, Harikesha joking. And Tejas added, when you find the chemicals, uh, the discussion here was that, the scientists are saying that life comes from chemicals interaction. And and then we say, so then you make the interaction, you create life. And then they're saying that, no, we will create life in the future. We in the process of creating that life by doing this chemical business. So Prabhupada is, criticizing the materialistic people. So Prabhupada stopped it and entertained everyone with an amusing parody of a dependent scientist and his boss. Now you starve. In future, I shall pay. He said, imitating the boss. Then, taking the part of the scientist, how shall I eat? Now we starve. In future, you get payment. He had everyone laughing as he walked on, continued to expose the folly of man in accepting such promises. The famous scientist, Harikesha, cited some of the events. In Russia, for example, they claim to have grafted an extra head on a dog. Opa. Lift it up, Prabhuji. Prabhupada had a quick answer for him. He pointed out that Ravana had 10 heads, and still he could not save himself from the hands of Rama. Ravana was thinking, who can be more intelligent than me? But still, Lord Ramachandra proved, yes, I'm better intelligent than you. Okay, we can go to our next reader.
I can go?
Yes, Prabhupada.
Yes.
All right. A Punjabi devotee, Chaitya Guru, observed that in India, people now regard their own philosophies to be outdated and are showing increasing interest in Russian books and Soviet philosophy. I asked what the base of this philosophy was. The devotee replied, matter is supreme. If matter is supreme, which is moving this matter. If they do not know, then again, in spite of so much philosophy and so much communism. Why, when Stalin and Lenin died, they simply remained matter? Why it was not moving? Where is that matter? Harikesh tried to argue that Marxism is actually a social philosophy. He explained that the main point of Marxism is to eliminate the unfair conditions in the world, whereby a few people are very wealthy while others remain poverty stricken, like in India. The communist tries to abolish the poor by making money from it, and that while trying to Prabhupada marked. The post-dated check again. Ambarish, a millionaire in his own right, added his own pertinent observation. Everyone is poor, but at least they're equal, Harikesh answered. Again, Prabhupada shot him down. Well, when you become poor, then naturally it is equal. There is no rich man. If there is equal, that's all. Prabhupada recalled how the taxi drivers in Moscow were so poor they were begging for something extra. Most people were so poor they couldn't afford a taxi. They were walking on the street. Yes, Harikesh argued, but why should somebody be rich and I poor? What gives him the right to have money? It is everywhere, Prabhupada answered, tipping his head towards Ambarish. He continued, he's born in a rich family and I am born in a poor family, so why this is happening? Yes, that's unfair, Harikesh said. I mean, I should take his money. No, no, not unfair. That's nature's arrangement. Uchavachar, why one has become animal, why one has become man, the same living entities. Chance, Harikesh declared. Prabhupada stopped. Chance? Who is making this chance? Can I make you by chance a dog? That is not possible. There is no such chance. It is by karma phala, the fruit of one's past activities. Just like you infect some disease, you suffer from that disease. So this happens to be the rascal. One who is intelligent he does not infect, is always cautious. Therefore this chance of infection is not there. Actually, you cannot say chance. It is your ignorance. You create chance because you do not know what will happen after something. On account of ignorance, it is chance. But if you are fully aware, there is no question of chance. An intelligent student, he does not think, by chance I be passed. He reads properly. He appears in the examination, gives the proper answer. It is not chance, and if he thinks, all right, by chance I will be passing the exam, is it very intelligent? Uh, Someone else like to read?
Yes. Saurav, I am here. Ambarish, multimillionaire in his own right. No, I'm not getting the screen. Now I'm in the taxi driver, see this, that's the last one bottom here. Can you lift it up the screen? I don't know if everybody has the same problem. More.
Yes, please. Now
Yeah.
can you see?
Yes, it needs to go scroll
Wow.
more down to
Yeah.
the next sentence is, these rascals are talking like that.
See, right now here, that is everywhere, Prabhupada answer. Tipping his head towards Ambarish. This is the last line I have.
Yeah, we need to scroll down. Who's in charge of that?
You have to go up. No, the other way, up.
Down to these rascals.
More. Okay, wait. Yeah.
Please tell me the last line. What was?
The next sentence is, these rascals are talking like that.
More. Keep it going up.
Go the other way. Yeah. Keep more.
Keep going
No,
up.
the other direction, I think. Yeah, there. See, these rascals are talking like that at the bottom. See that?
Yeah, see, these rascals are in the last line. You have to put these rascals in the top line. Can you go up? These rascals should be in the top. Up.
Wrong direction.
You sure the gravity, you have to go
I
up.
think he mean down. Tell him down. These rascals, keep going, keep scrolling. Yeah, there.
Okay. Now, next one, Hansadutta said, okay, now we went too much.
No.
Now we went too much. Wait, too much.
Okay, sorry, Prabhuji.
This rascal, I'll talk like that. There's no
Oh,
question of
okay.
chance.
Yeah. Oh my Krishna. Sorry.
Welcome to the world. We love you, Saurabh. Don't worry. He still tried to get over the Jamastani and Prabhupada, Vyasa Puj, you told. Okay, now Hansadutta said Marx, right? That one? Okay, next one reading.
Who will read next?
Shall I read?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. Hare Krishna. Hansadutta said Marx had a philosophy that capitalized systems would eventually collapse on themselves and communism would be the natural outcome. Even if that were true, Prabhupada wouldn't get Marx any credit. He said that when there is no capital, naturally they will be communistic. That was already predicted by Vyasadeva. That is not a communistic idea. That is the future of a Kali Yuga. That is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Achinta Dhara Dravida Jasnati Giri Kananam. They will be harassed by famine, taxation, and starvation. Naturally, they will be disappointed. Achinta. That is already told. He noted how in communist people must code for hours just to obtain basic commodities. That is all due to godlessness. Going down as far as the Indian Transport offices, we turn left on Sikandra Road, gradually making our way back to Toderbal Lane by crossing over College Road and coming down Barber Road. As we made our way along the dirty footpaths, Prabhupada intermittently drew our attention to the deteriorating state of India's capital. He said that people are starving and yet they are building museums of natural history and so forth to show hips and heads, stones and bones. This cheating and buffling is going on, he said, at the cost of the poor man's blood. There are so many buildings, but there is no single building where spiritual discuss, although it is the basis of life. As we arrived back at the temple, Prabhupada ended the conversation on an ominous note. Civilization will collapse very soon all over the world. It will collapse. Either you may bring this inism and that ism. This civilization will collapse. People will become bad, being harassed. When one is harassed, problems, he commits suicide. So that position is coming. Or he starts a war. Harikesh said, yes, Prabhupada agreed. When the government cannot adjust, they start a war. Amish has come here to Delhi for a special purpose. He plans finance a new development in Kurukshetra, and he has already donated $150,000 for the project. Prabhupada wants to build one ashram university there as well as a temple of Krishna and Arjuna. To this end, he has been in contact with Gul- Gulzari Lal Nanda, a former Home Minister and twice acting Prime Minister of India. Gulzari Lal Nanda is now in charge of a special trust set up a develop of a Kurukshetra area for pilgrims. Nandaji arrived at the temple at noon and came upon on the rooftop as the Prabhupada sat on a straw mat in his gamcha, receiving his massage. Nandaji perched on chair. They discussed the Kurukshetra project. They talked first about the work Nandaji has done to restore and develop the Kurukshetra area and what Prabhupada's requirements would be for his proposed college. He gradually ranged onto more general topics. At the end, they agreed to meet once again on December 1st. In Kurukshetra, Prabhupada will examine the land and continue the discussions on his plans for development at the site. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next one, please. Okay, new, please. Yeah.
Later, around 9 p.m., Prabhupada finished eating a little prasadam and then asked me to take his plate, along with a basket of fruit that had been given to him earlier the evening, down to the temple. The fruit was to be given to the deities, which Srila Prabhupada's plate was to be washed off and placed. Picking up his plate in one hand and the fruit in the other, I started for the door, but Prabhupada immediately stopped me. He pointed out that the plate, having been eaten from, was dirty. I had picked up, contaminating myself by touching it, and I touched the fruit to be offered to the deity. He told me to wash my hands and take the items separately. We all smiled at his thoughtfulness and my dullness. From my point of view as a disciple, both Guru and God were to be worshipped on the same level. Foremost in my mind was the thought that every little opportunity to render some service was to my own benefit. In other words, I thought that I was becoming purified simply by touching the plate that Srila Prabhupada had personally eaten from. He, however, thought of himself as a humble servant of Krishna. Thus, he saw the plate as being contaminated because he had such a high standard of purity. And because the fruit was to be offered to the deity, Srila Prabhupada would therefore not accept the mixing of the two items. In Prabhupada's presence, it is becoming quite clear how little I have learned in almost 4 years in the movement. Being with Srila Prabhupada in opening up a whole new perspective on devotional service to me as Srila Prabhupada assistant, one has to learn, see matters from his point of view and take precedent over one's own. November 13th, 1975. As Srila Prabhupada took his massage on the roof, Hans Tuta Prabhu came to join him. After sitting for a while and reading from the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he expressed to Srila Prabhupada his appreciation of the newly published volume. Prabhupada chatted a little with him, extolling the pleasures of sitting in the sunshine. He said the Rajarasis of former ages all made their capital in India on account of the pleasant sunny weather. Even during winters, the days were warm and sunny, and in the summer, the The evenings are very pleasant and mild. When Suruta asked Srila Prabhupada about the possibility of opening a center in Kabul, he explained that the residents there have shown interest in our society and good number of young Westerners pass through that area, many of whom are receptive to learning about spiritual life. Srila Prabhupada positively declared that it is his desire to see a center in every city of the world. He encouraged Hans to go ahead and try to establish something. Gopal Krishna joined us on the roof to finalize arrangements for tomorrow's journey to Kurukshetra. When he asked who could accompany his divine grace on the trip, Srila Prabhupada, with an upward tip of his head, immediately indicated, he may go. Gopala Krishna registered mild surprise since I am only temporarily failing. Hari sorry, Srila Prabhupada. To which Prabhupada responded, well, I have to have my massage. So by Prabhupada's grace, and to my great satisfaction, my tenor and his servant has been extended, and I will get my first chance to travel with his divine grace. Unfortunately, I blundered with the hot water for his bath again today. I remembered to place the immersion heater in the bucket of water, but I foolishly forgot to switch it on. This time, Srila Prabhupada became ex- excess- uh, separated and reprimanded me because he has to wait until the water heated up. I had nothing to say. I hung my head, feeling terrible. It was the second time in 3 days, and there was no excuse. Now I can understand that although Prabhupada is very tolerant of mistakes arising from inexperience, he expects us to learn from our errors. Simple carelessness does not sit well with him at all. He wants us to act with clear intelligence, seeing this as the symptom of our Krishna consciousness. After taking lunch prasadam, Prabhupada sat at ease in his sitting room for a short while. Then he walked through the servants' room to his bedroom to retire for his afternoon nap. Hansaruta, Hridesha, and I were in the servants' room taking our lunch. As he came in, we offered our obeisances, and I was sitting on the floor eating from a bowl with a spoon, and as I knelt back, I put the spoon down and rested my hand on my knee. Immediately, Prabhupada looked at me and said, "Oh, you are eating," and then he put his hand on different places of his body as if to illustrate a child contaminating his clothes with dirty hand. My instinct was to say, well, Srila Prabhupada, my hand isn't dirty, I'm eating with a spoon. But I thought better of it and checked myself. Prabhupada could obviously see that. I realized that Prabhupada simply has a better understanding of what constitutes cleanliness. He laughed as he walked past us into his bedroom. He shook his hand and said, "You're all brought up bleachers, bleachers." Then again in the evening, without first
Lectures.
lecture.
You all brought up as lectures. Thank you, Prabhupada. Carry on,
Then
Mata.
Then again in the evening, without first washing my hands, I picked up a water jug. After handling Srila Prabhupada's plate, he immediately noticed and corrected me. He laughed and told me not to mind. It is the position of the Guru, he said, to find out the faults in the disciple and rectify them. It was simultaneously embarrassing and pleasurable to be on the receiving end of Prabhupada's reproof. His standards of purity is so much higher than ours. By his mean observation and objective criticism, he is training us to the highest level, making us fit for serving Krishna. I feel very fortunate that Prabhupada is very patiently training me. Even though he is sometimes called us Chas, he is actually very proud of his Western disciples. He constantly points out his visitor, now we have been transformed. These incidents have made me realize that Srila Prabhupada has unlimited patience in training his disciple. Although he must have given these instructions hundreds of times during the last 10 years, he is still prepared, patiently teach the same thing again and again. Any new disciple, provided that student has an attitude of humble service and is eager to learn. Shall I continue or?
Okay,
We have the
next one.
next. Thank you,
Hare
Mati.
Krishna, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada's schedule is finally fixed for him to go to Kurukshetra on December 1st and to Vrindavan the following day. Gopal Krishna informed me today that as soon as Srila Prabhupada gets to Vrindavan, I have to leave immediately for Calcutta to help with the management. Rikesha has also made it quite clear that he has already arranged for someone else to assume the role of mayor in Vrindavan. So my short sojourn is sadly coming to an end. But still I have a feeling of overwhelming gratitude for having been allowed in His Divine Grace's personal service these past few days. It is something I never expected nor deserved. Truly the causeless Master Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. December 1st, 1975, Kurukshetra. At morning's first light, Srila Prabhupada and his party set out in two cars for the famous Tirtha of Kurukshetra, the site where Lord Sri Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna some 5,000 years ago. Prabhupada rode in the first car with Hrishikesh, Gopal Krishna, and Hansadut Prabhu. Chaitanya, Chaitanya Guru Ambarish and I brought up the rear. Leaving New Delhi, we drove due north for about 3 hours to reach our destination. Kurukshetra is still a popular pilgrimage site as as it was even thousands of years before Lord Krishna's appearance. It is a small town, but there are many temples every year, especially during an eclipse of the sun or moon. Millions of pilgrims gather to bathe in the large lakes and to visit the site of the famous battle between the Pandavas and the Kurus. Galjerilal Nanda received Srila Prabhupada at a nearby guest house. They took breakfast together. Then Nandaji took him on a tour of the area known as Brahma Sarovar. This particular site is the main pilgrimage center. It consists of a very large lake, approximately half a mile wide and two-thirds of a mile long. Nandaji has established a trust called Manavadharma for the purpose of developing the area, and to date they have spent 1.5 crores of rupees, about $1.5 million, doing this. The money has all come from government grants. The lake was impressive with ex- exceptionally clean water all around at regular intervals on its sold up banks. There were ghats for bathing with separate enclosed facilities for women. Nandaji's plan is to eventually create steps leading into the water along the entire length of the shoreline. Across the expanse of water, we could see a line of buildings and temples on the opposite bank, one of which was a Gaudiya Math. Nandaji took Prabhupada around to one end of the tank where he pointed out some plots of land that were available for development, as well as some land along the side of the lake. It became clear he wanted Srila Prabhupada to purchase a parcel of land, although Prabhupada would have preferred that Nandaji donate something to ISKCON. Prabhupada didn't appear too impressed with the offer. He inquired about the low elevation of the land and the possibility of flooding during the rainy season. All in all, Prabhupada seemed somewhat doubtful but still expressed some interest. Nandaji has gathered quite a coterie of men who all glorify him and consider him a spiritual leader as well as a statesman. Around the end of the tank, we noticed a large statue of Nandaji had been erected. And as we continued our tour, his secretaries praised him constantly. Indeed, his efforts to develop the area are impressive. In addition to the Brahmasarovar development, he also showed Prabhupada a new irrigation system. This fed of a small pump station with locks constructed on a small canal running alongside Brahmasarovar. It was designed to supply water to the entire district. Then he took Prabhupada to a small Gosala and finally to a recently established Ayurvedic pharmacy. We returned to the guest house at noon. As Prabhupada took his massage in the sunny back garden, and Nandaji sat in a chair and talked about his future plans for improving the area. He also expressed his ideas for strengthening the moral and spiritual lives of the Indian people, especially the young. He feels that their sense of values are being eroded away by the forces of materialism and atheism. The conversation centered on the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita as the basis for achieving positive changes. Although Nandaji began the speaking, he ended up initiating, sorry, initiating the dialogue, but gradually winding down as Srila Prabhupada took over. The Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada pointed out, must be properly understood and assimilated before it can be given to others. Therefore, it has to be accepted exactly as Krishna spoke it, first to the sun god Yusan and the later to Arjun here in Kurukshetra. At the mention of the sun god, Nandaji expressed some doubt as to how this should be understood. It seems to him somewhat symbolic, but Srila Prabhupada explained that devotion actually exists and that everything in the Gita is factual, not symbolic. Nandaji learned back as Prabhupada elucidated the Vedic descriptions of life on other planets, such as the sun and moon. He cited the statement of Lord Krishna in the Gita that the living entities are both Nitya, eternal, and Sarvagata, pa- all pervasive. This meant, he said, that they are unaffected by any material condition and are therefore found everywhere in the universe. Sri Krishna specifically points out that the Atma is not burned by fire. So Krishna's statement that he spoke the science of Bhagavad Gita to the sun god must be taken as it is, literally, and not as something symbolic. At Nandaji's prompting, Prabhupada also described the position of the sun, the moon, and other planets according to the Srimad Bhagavatam.
ओके थैंक यू प्रभु जी सो नेक्स्ट वन देखते हैं क्योंकि हमारे पास टाइम से ओ वी डोंट हैव एनफ टाइम सो नेक्स्ट एनीवन ओके थैंक यू प्लीज कंटिन्यू
Hare Krishna.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी यस माता जी कंटिन्यू
Am I audible? At Nandaji's prompting, Prabhupada also described the position of sun, the moon, and the other planets according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Apparently, Nandaji had never considered that the Gita should be accepted literally. Nevertheless, he continued to listen attentively as Srila Prabhupada skillfully guided the discussion. Prabhupada didn't create a controversy even though the small subject matter could have prompted one. He kept things on the level of pleasant tea. He allowed his companion to reveal his position and then gradually drew him closer to the Krishna conscious viewpoint. He encouraged Nandaji to study the Gita and even suggested that as he was now retired from politics, he should consider taking sannyasa and preach the message of Krishna full time. Nandaji visibly balked at this. The very thought of entering the renounced order of the life literally made him fidget in his seat. Tactfully, Prabhupada didn't press the point. After a few minutes more, Nandaji courteously took his leave, allowing Prabhupada to bathe and eat his lunch. Prabhupada work is fascinating to hear and watch, especially when dealing with persons who are prominent in the common man's eyes. He he talks with such total conviction and realization and quotes so many references from the Vedas that is very difficult to dispute what he says. Yet mundane men in India, despite their professed attachment to the Vedic way of life and teachings of the Gita, seem to have great difficulty in accepting the Vedas literally. They accept only the part that fits within their own limited viewpoint and either interpret or avoid that which does not tally with their own sense of what is logical. Srila Prabhupada, however, never covers over the statements of Sri Krishna or any Vedic authority with speculation. He accepts the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Consequently, he is always very effective in changing people's lives for the better. He has such presence, learning, and conviction that men like Nandaji are naturally respectful. Whether they actually take his advice, though, is another matter. Immediately after lunch, Nandaji took Prabhupada on a tour of Kurukshetra University. Prabhupada met uh,
So you went too fast. Bring it back a little bit. Okay.
Yes. Prabhupada made certain that books were left more further examination. Then Prabhupada returned to the guest house and said goodbye to his host. He declined to give any immediate decision on the land purchase, but assured Nandaji that he would be in touch with him in the near future. Srila Prabhupada rested for an hour. Then we prepared for our return to New Delhi. After some discussion, however, Prabhupada decided to visit another less developed area of Kurukshetra called Jyotishar. This area has not been within the focus of attention of Nandaji's Manava Dharma Trust, although it is reputed to be the actual place where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. We drove through the town past the sites of the morning tour. About 7 miles on, we turned off down a narrow, dusty track to an unimpressive patch of buildings. By the side of a modest lake with curving banks, we saw several small streams. One housed a deity of Saraswati, and in another, Krishna stood with a conch in his right hand and a chakra in his left. But main feature was out in the open, under the spreading arms of a large banyan tree. The tree is said to have been there since the time of the battle 5,000 years ago. They are encased in a metal and a glass house. We came upon a half-life-seized white marble deity of Sri Krishna and Arjuna in the chariot. Arjuna was sitting cross-legged on the back of the
Chariot. Back of the chariot with his palms together. Got it? And Krishna, who was painted blue, sat on the front.
Arjuna was sitting cross-legged on the back of the chariot with his palms together, and Krishna, who has painted blue, sat on the front, half turning to Arjuna. He held the reins of the four horses, and his right hand was raised, with the thumb and the forefinger forming a circle in the classic mudra signifying the exchange of spiritual knowledge. Prabhupada walked about and gave the entire area a thorough inspection. After 10 minutes, he asked us what we thought about it. Free from the previous constraints imposed by our status as guests, everyone expressed their enthusiasm. We unanimously conclude that it seemed as if this was the main pilgrimage site. We all sensed the spiritual vibrancy on the area. A deep sense of timeless wisdom and serenity seemed to be permeated at the atmosphere. Harikesha put it very succinctly. The other place was like the heavenly planets, but the place is Vaikuntha. Prabhupada smiled and said that we should build a temple of Krishna and Arjuna here. At Brahma Saravara, he suggested that another temple could be built for Krishna, Balarama, and Subhadra because they went there to bath during the solar eclipse. Chaitya Guru was chosen to negotiate with Nandaji for the land. Prabhupada also requested him to try to get land donated at Jyotishar. On the way back, Prabhupada candidly remarked about the Kurukshetra development. They call it Manava Dharma, religious trans for humanity. I call it Pashu Dharma, animal life. 1.5 crores of rupees spent, and they erect a big statue for birds to pass stool on, but they have installed not a single deity. It was about. Shall I continue?
Okay, deity. Okay, next, anyone want
Who
to?
is next up?
Yeah, everybody
Okay.
already read.
Should I go?
This one, okay? Sorry, George.
Mama is always there. You reading?
But my sound,
Okay, I can read. Okay. It was about 9 in the evening when we arrived at 9 Todder Mall Lane. As he sat in his room, Prabhupada inquired about the day's mail. Generally, Prabhupada's mail is handled exclusively by his secretary. But since Hansadutta had gone off to get something to eat at Natu's, Srila Prabhupada sent me to the temple to collect his mail. When I handed him the letters, to my great surprise, he asked me to open them and read him the contents. It was a privilege that I eagerly, although nervously, accepted. Tearing open the envelopes one by one, I read out the messages. Prabhupada also opened a few and inspected them. Pushpa Krishna Swami sent one from South Africa, describing his plans to purchase a Mercedes in Germany and drive it here for Prabhupada use in India. One was from Kirtiraj Das in Los Angeles. He's moving to Europe in order to begin preaching in Poland. Another written by Gopi Paranadhana Das, containing a translation of the first chapter of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur works, the Chaitanya Sikshamrita. There were several other letters as well. I remember during this time, I think Gargamuni bought 6 vans, Mercedes vans. It's like a van, very big for preaching. and 4 went to India, 2 went to Bangladesh. No, wait, 2 to Nepal, 2 to India, and 2 to Bangladesh. And because of the car have a visa, they have to exchange. Then 2 from India go to Bangladesh, and then from Nepal they come from India. Then India go to Nepal. There's something going on like that. So we started a sanctum in Mayapur with those Mercedes vans that came in. Just as Prabhupada was finishing his reading, Harikesh came in, shocked to see me reading Prabhupada's mail. He proceeded to chastise me, disregarding the fact that Srila Prabhupada was present right in front of us. This is to be done only by the secretary, he said angrily. You have no business even touch the mail. It's always something. Srila Prabhupada did not say a word. He merely stood, walked quietly into his bedroom to take rest. Harikesh, meanwhile, continued to emphasize his point. If Brahmananda was still the secretary, you would never get away with this. He cooled off, however, when I explained that Srila Prabhupada himself had asked me to read to him. Harikesh conceded that under the circumstance, I had no choice but to do it. In one sense, Harikesh was right. Prabhupada's mail is private and is not to be dealt with simply. From Harikesha's point of view, I'm just a temporary helper, and thus I should be careful not to tread on the more exclusive domain of Srila Prabhupada's regular servants. Otherwise, Prabhupada himself will be disturbed in his daily activities. Nevertheless, we both understood that while recognizing a certain preeminence of his senior man, in the aggregate, Prabhupada doesn't discriminate. If the right man is not around, he employs whatever is available. To him were all his disciples in the service of Krishna, and he engaged anyone who is willing to and available, according to necessity and the devotee's own capacity. Accepting my action as an innocent response to a direct request from Srila Prabhupada, Harikesh relented. Then I joined Srila Prabhupada to give him his massage. After a few minutes silence in the gentle darkness, as I carefully massaged his legs and feet, he softly asked me how I liked the idea of have a temple in Jyotisar. I said, yes, it would be very nice. He smiled and replied, yes, Krishna is focused in Bhagavad Gita there. Then he closed his eyes and went to sleep.
Okay, Prabhuji. So today
Yes.
our first volume is completed.
First what?
Yes, first volume.
First volume.
Yes.
First chapter.
Oh, first chapter or first volume?
No, first volume means it's a huge book. This should be the first chapter, I think.
Oh, yes, first
Chapter 2.
Yes.
Okay.
So next
So
day.
we're starting next time, chapter 2, Vrindavandam.
Yes.
Okay. So this was wonderful reading with such a nice, great devotees. I thank you so much for your association. I have so much fun. And it's so fun reading Prabhupada. It's just like being there, like a little mosquito, sitting there, seeing all these things happening. Wonderful. Okay, so I thank you all, and I see you next Wednesday.